Hi, and welcome to this introduction to the Bettermaker C502V, a dual-channel compressor in convenient 500 series format, with a choice of 3 very different compression styles: a dry-wet mix knob for easy parallel compression, and internal MS matrixing for mid-side compression techniques. The C502V has a fully analog signal path of the highest quality. But in the trademark Bettermaker style, it also has a totally separate digital control system, which allows you to save and recall up to 400 internal presets, or to remotely control the unit via USB, with a controller plugin available in all the usual formats. The plugin will recall your settings when loading projects, and allows automation of all parameters, and might also allow you to tweak your settings without leaving your ideal listening position. Let's start at the top right of the unit with the threshold knob. I can adjust this in increments of 1/10 of a dB, and I can tweak it much more accurately and precisely than most other analog compressors. Likewise, I can set the makeup gain very precisely using the knob below. The ratio is currently set to 4:1. I can drop this to a gentler 2:1, or a very gentle 1.5:1. Or I could go the other way with a firm 6:1 setting. The final 1:2 option is only available by long pressing the select button, but I'm going to turn down the gain first because this mode provides upward expansion, which will boost signals that exceed the threshold instead of attenuating them. This mode can add a powerful extra punch to programmed drums, and might help to rescue material that has already been compressed a bit too hard. Okay, let's switch back to 4:1 compression and turn up the gain again. The SC button below allows the sidechain to be high-pass filtered, either at 60 Hz or right up to 120 Hz. Let's wind down the threshold a bit more to compensate. Attack and release are both controlled via the top left knob. Press this in to switch between the two, with the little red LED indicating that we're currently adjusting release. This can be relatively slow and sedate, or you can turn it up all the way to activate a useful auto-release mode. Things get more exciting at the other end of the scale, however, where extremely fast and aggressive release times are available, with the same level of precise and accurate control as for the threshold and gain parameters. Likewise, if I switch to control attack, this can be set very slow for super gentle mastering compression that doesn't kill your transients. Or it can go super fast and smash your transients mercilessly. In-between settings can give your transients a powerful snap or a solid thud, as we can hear if I toggle bypass. Speaking of bypass, the bottom left knob crossfades to the dry input signal, so you can automate this parameter to create a soft click-free bypass, or set it part way up to mix dry and wet signals for parallel compression. I'm using the first BM compression mode at the moment, which is a unique Bettermaker compression style, versatile enough to be useful for mixing duties as well as mastering. Here's the BM style processing and drum kit subgroup, adding a ton of extra attitude and attack. If I switch to SG mode, however, the compression changes dramatically. This style is much more squashy and elastic in character, and is modelled after a classic bus compressor, famous for its ability to glue a mix together. We still have continuous control over attack and release times in this mode, unlike the unit that inspired it, which switches between discrete settings. And we still have an auto-release mode if you turn the release up beyond its slowest setting. The third DX mode is inspired by another classic compressor design, with totally automatic attack and release behavior. So the attack and release controls don't do anything in this mode. This type of compression can add a distinctive round, punchy character to drums, but is also great for ballsy, meaty bass instruments, or for pinning a vocal to the front of a mix. Notice that I've split the channels in this case, so I'm running dual mono compression with the bass on channel 1 and the vocal on channel 2. And I can press the channel select button to switch the controls between the channels and set up different compression for each. If you're using the plug-in controller, you can split the interface to show both sets of controls at once. And if you save your settings, you can print these two channels back to your DAW and reuse the C502V elsewhere, perhaps on your mix bus. Long press the channel select button to link the two channels again for stereo operation. Stereo options don't stop there, however. If I press the MS button to the right, this has two effects. It switches in internal mid-side matrixing, so the compressor is processing mid and side signals instead of left and right. And it unlinks the compression so that mid and side channels are compressed independently. This tends to focus the compression more on the middle of the mix, and can open up the stereo image and make it seem wider. But we can go further and unlink the controls as well. And we can now dial in different settings for mid and side. I can turn up the side gain for more dramatic stereo widening, or I can compress the sides harder to rein in excessive stereo width. I can even choose different compression styles for each channel. The DX mode can work surprisingly well for the side channel, with the added bonus that you don't need to set attack and release time. But if I switch back to channel 1, we can see that I'm still using the gluey SG mode for the middle of the mix. And I still have full control over attack and release parameters. Interestingly, this configuration also provides independent dry-wet mix controls for mid and side. So you could run some very gentle parallel compression for the middle of the mix, while taking firmer control of the sides with a fully wet compressed signal, or vice versa. If I press in the gain knob, I can solo the currently selected channel, so I can tune the mid compression while listening to the mono sum. Or I can tune the side compression while listening to just the stereo difference. And I can press the gain knob again to return to stereo. The C502V is a great sounding, incredibly versatile compressor. When partnered with 542 and 502P EQ modules, we have a world-class analog mixing and mastering chain with full digital recall in convenient and portable 500 series format. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.